Well, hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Johnny, and you're watching Hillbilly Modeling. Now, this video is going to be quite a bit different than what we normally do. If you've been following the channel, you know that I have moved, or I'm still in the process of getting everything sorted out. So I kind of just excuse the mess that we got going on over there with the sorting of tools and all that other stuff. The one thing that we do need to take care of so we can get back to modeling is going to be the workbench. And if there's a little bit of echo here, it's because we're working in the garage. So I apologize for that. I will try to keep my voice down so we don't have too much echo here. But I thought it would be a good idea to start off by showing you the workbench that I've been using back at the old house in West Virginia. And we need to do a couple of modifications to it here to make it work better for our workspace down here in Georgia. So I'll give you a little tour of the workbench and how I had been doing things in the past, and then I'll show you what we're going to do to improve it. So here's my workbench setup. Now I like to use a tall stool when I'm sitting at the workbench, and that gives me ample area to work, and if I need to, I can move the stool out of the way and I can get down without having to move my actual project and see down low. And then of course right here is where I would put my cutting mat. As you can see, some of it kind of stuck there and been there so long. But that's okay. We're not going to see any of that. So I built this little platform here as the actual work surface, which I have cinched up in the vise of this woodworking table, which came from Harbor Freight several years ago. Now this is a fairly nice table. It has 4 drawers in it, but the current setup here works good, or it's going to work good anyway. I hope it does, in my new work area. So having the work surface here, just as it is, that's going to work really good. And just like in my old work area, these drawers, because of the vise being on this end, they're actually facing the wrong side, because I actually work from the opposite side here. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to reverse these drawers and put them on this side. That way, you know, you're on this side anyway, so you don't want to walk around your bench looking for materials and stuff to use. So I think we will be able to change these drawers out, switch them over to the opposite side, and there's a couple of ways we could do that. I guess you could try to flip the top, but the holes for the legs don't line up for the top. And even if we do, there is a centerpiece that supports the shelves here. That will have to be re-drilled and relocated anyway for the opposite side. So I think probably the best thing to do would be to move our end plates here. And get this out of the way. There we go. There we go. So I think we can just switch the end plates and then move that center support down over towards the other face. Otherwise, we're still going to have to move the center support for the drawers anyway, so probably the best thing to do is to flip this over. We're going to start off by removing this, the work platform there, and it's just clamped in. So yeah, I'll unclamp that and I'll remove that. And just to show you also, one of the things that I use when I'm making my videos is this little arm right here that holds my smartphone. So all of my videos are made using a smartphone. So I didn't see any reason to go to the extra expense of purchasing a camera and a tripod and all that other stuff that could be very expensive. just to do modeling. And why do that when you have a very good camera that you're walking around with in your pocket all the time, right? So one device to do everything. And that's what I'm using right now to make this video, is my smartphone. So, all right, I'm going to remove the work platform we got right here. And then we're going to take a look at the drawers. So real quick, I've removed the work platform here. As you can see, I have this wooden rib right here. That sits down right onto the top right there. Indexes it for me. Keeps it nice and stable. We also have these cutouts, as you can see here. And those are so that it'll fit around the hardware for the vise here on the end of the bench. That way it sits down and we've got plenty to clamp to. We also have our little platform here, or not platform, but our little easel that I clip my instructions to. And it can just fold up underneath if you're not using it, just like so. And then there's a single leg, and there's an adjuster here. You just have to drill a hole and put the plastic insert in it there. And that way you can get your work surface level. So that is that's the workbench that goes on to the woodworking bench. so it's worth noting that I have removed the handle here for our vise. It just has these rubber caps there. You can just pull that off and pull that out of the way. That way it's not in the way here, because we're going to flip this bench over in a couple of minutes here. So I need that out of the way so it doesn't cause me any trouble. And another reason that we are going to go ahead and work on this bench is because of all these holes that are on your average woodworking bench. These are for dogs and little posts and stuff for clamping, woodworking projects and stuff like that, which I don't use that for this bench, and this bench has been used quite a bit. So it is stained and it needs resurfaced, and I actually need to get rid of all these holes. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to laminate maybe a 1/4 inch plywood or something onto the top of it there, and sand that down nicely, and put some polyurethane on it to protect it, and we'll have a nice smooth work surface. We also have a crack here that has formed over the years, and yeah, we're just going to cover all that up. I know for a modeling channel you wasn't expecting some woodworking, but that's what we're going to do here. Sometimes you need to do some woodworking. Now, when it comes to these drawers, when it comes time to remove them, if you can see, there's a little plastic lever here. This one you push down on this side. On the opposite side, I think we have to pull it up. If we can get in there where we can see it. Yeah, you pull that one up. And so if you pull them up, you can get the drawer to unlatch from the rails, and then we can remove all 4 drawers. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these drawers out, and so we can get to the structure that holds these drawers in. So this should be fairly simple, I think. I'll get my thumb in there, my finger over here, and there we go. The drawers just come right out, down on that side, up on the left. There we go. So, I'll get the other 2 removed. Now all we got to do is flip this over without crushing our toes. There we go. So now we're going to do some measuring here. It's about 2 inches from the face here. And it's about a 1/4 inch rebate right there. And I'm also measuring, we're about 2.5 inches to the center of this bottom screw, and it looks like about 9 inches to the center of this other screw here. And then if we measure here, we're about 5.5 inches to the center of this screw here. And if I measure on the other side, that's exactly what I've come out with on the opposite side. So it looks like that we can move these pieces from left to right without any real issue. And we also have this cross piece here that adds stability. And let me see here, I'll show you. And here's our center. Now the space difference here on the back is quite a bit different than the space difference there on the front. So I need to mark these right here. I'm just going to take my pencil, draw a line like so. So I know where it's supposed to go back. We'll probably have to re-drill these holes here. That shouldn't be a problem, but I think all the other holes are going to line up. And also, I want to do an index here. And I'll do that for all 4 legs. And then we'll get to removing this center piece here. So I'm just going to use my drill and a long bit here and remove these screws, which aren't very tight, to be honest with you. And we'll get this center piece here detached. And now we can take out all of these. Oops. Make sure we're going in the right direction. I don't think there's a screw in there. Might only be these 4. There. So with all the screws removed, we should just be able to pull this right out, flip it around, slide it back in. Slide it back in. There we go. So I should be able to locate that hole. I got my index mark right there. Yeah. So that one's good. I can see it. There we go. Let me grab a screwdriver here, just get them started. I don't want to run them all the way in. Just get them started here. There we go. See, we still need to be able to move this back and forth to line up the screws on the opposite side and also for the other end. So I'll go ahead and get those screws put in. Okay, so that didn't go as planned. As you can see, we got a space here and it doesn't go down. That's because these pieces here are doweled, or the center piece rather is doweled, and our dowels no longer line up because we flipped this around. So I'm gonna have to take this all back out. I could just take this out right here. That'll probably be fine. Yeah, I'll just take these two screws out at the top right here. I'll just take them out. We'll pull this out and cut those dowels off. We won't need those. So what we have here is a flush cut saw. It's a big one, but it works. What we're going to do, and I've got it clamped here. Now I'm going to try to get out of the way of the camera here. So the whole point here, we're just going to cut these dowels off because we don't need them. There we go. Nice and flush. I probably could have just pulled these out, but there we are. I'll just stick that back in. All right, so we just need to pop this back. There's a slot for it there. We just need to pop it back into place there, like so. Now all I gotta do is relocate or not relocate, but locate the actual holes there. I think we're pretty close. Should be right there at it. Oh yeah, we're all set. Do have to be careful here because this is either HDF or MDF. Don't want to fool around and strip out our screws there. So we're lining back up here on our index line that we marked originally. I shouldn't have to put, oh, maybe I should. Maybe a little dimple. A little dimple will help our screw get started. I'm just using an awl for that. And I need to change out my bit and my battery. Isn't that what always happens? There we go. My arm is probably in the way, I can't tell. That should be close enough. I hope. All right, get the other side. Okay, so with all of our screws, I don't need loose screws, make sure that you go around and check. Oh, wait a minute, no, there is one. Let me fix that. I'm just gonna use a screwdriver to put these in because I don't want to crush. There we go. sure we got everything. You don't want to strip these out because that's pretty cheap stuff there. Hopefully it'll get the job done. So now all we're going to do is flip it back over. If we're careful. Almost back where we started. So if we're lucky, everything will go back in. We do want to make sure that these little roller slides are all the way forward before we try to put our drawers in. Drawers or drawers? I think these were over here. Try to keep everything as close to how it came out. I think that's the top one right there. Well, that could be the top one. So what we're going to do now, hopefully, is just line them up. They got a little plastic guide there. That looks all right. Okay, I'll just go ahead and put the others in. So what do you think? Now this one never did line up right from the factory, so I'm not too worried about it, of course, but it's functional. And now it's on the appropriate side. So, whoops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to shutter you guys around. Don't worry about the trash in the back. We're going to get rid of that later. So as I was saying, this has these rubber caps. And normally, after I get my workbench clamped on, I'll remove that so that I don't hit my knee on it. And then we'll set in like that and then get clamped back down. I'll take that back apart, of course, to move it into the house and into the my new workspace. But at least now, for my workbench, my drawers, they're on the right side. That's good. Yeah, okay, so I'm not used to filming large objects, as you can tell. So, yeah, much more useful. So next we need to worry about the top. So we're gonna have to do something about that. What do you think? We now have the drawers on the correct side of the bench. And yeah, we no longer have to walk around the bench to get to everything. So that's good. That's a good thing. Makes us more productive. And you know, when you're modeling, as much time as you can squeeze in is never enough. So this is going to help considerably, and it didn't take that long to do. So I've got that taken care of. Next thing is to work on the top here. So I guess it's off to Home Depot or Lowe's and try to figure out if I want to put 1/4-inch plywood of some kind on here. I mean, it doesn't have to be expensive and it doesn't have to be beautiful. I mean, you can always paint it, you can always stain it, you can always just put polyurethane on it. I mean, probably we're going to end up with cutting mats on top anyway. But I do want to get rid of all these holes, which just collect dust, which coincidentally ends up in the drawers. And we want to eliminate that as much as possible. So, all right, let's go find something to take care of this with. All right, so I came back from Home Depot with a couple of things to try to help us out here. Number one, well, let me flip you around so you can see what I'm talking about. So we have this. So this is Robert's 8200 Quick Bond All-Purpose Spray Adhesive. So that's like a rubber cement type stuff in a spray can. And simply what you do is you coat both, I'll just show you. Here we go. We are going to lightly sand this just to break the surface up a little bit there. And we'll be able to spray it. Now I went ahead and put some paper around the edge there. We don't want this spray adhesive on everything. And we'll give this a good coat of that spray adhesive. And then this is the board that I've decided to use. It's kind of like the stuff that like clipboards are made out of, Echo board or something like it. I forget what they call it. But it's a real thick density board. Now this is 3/16 of an inch thick, so it's not going to be a problem for us to laminate it down. And we will spray the back side of it as well. And then once that adhesive tacks up, we'll simply lay them down on one another and they'll stick to each other. So that's what we're going to do. Ought to be a lot of fun. It's going to be loud to actually do all this cutting and everything. So next time we frame up, it'll be time to trim it out. So we'll see how all that goes. Okay, so I got the table sprayed and the back side of the piece we're going to laminate onto it. It tacks up pretty quick. I just need to check it and see if it is gooey or if it's actually really tacky. You know, I don't really want it to stick to my finger. I just want it to, you know, see if it's sticky. Yeah, it's sticky. Yeah. All right, so I need to take all this paper off and before I set that down on top of it, because I don't want any blue masking tape get stuck up underneath. So we'll go ahead and rip all this off. So only takes about 10 minutes or so or less to, depending upon your humidity, whether or not it'll tack up. And it's tacky, but it doesn't stick to my finger. So it's ready to go. So I cut the top. It's supposed to be, this surface right here is 20 inches by 60 inches. And I cut that 22 by 62. So we have overhang all the way around. So we don't have really an alignment issue because we're going to use a flush trim bit and size it to the actual tabletop here after all this has set up. So now what we need to do is take this piece and simply flip it over onto here and hopefully we get it right first time. And gotta be a good way to do this. I gotta get my fingers just on it. All right. I do wonder. Probably a better way to do it, I think, Put that right there for now. These are from the move, from the wardrobes. That'll give us a chance to position it. Not everything's sticking together. Yeah, see right there? If I'd have flopped that over, we'd have been in trouble. Just need it to be sticking out everywhere. Yeah, all right. Now, remove that. Just set it down on there. So I used to have a roller to do this with, and it's packed up somewhere. I don't know where it's at. So we're just going with what we know here. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put something heavy on it. Just to weight it down and let it compress. I think I'll let it sit overnight, and then we'll worry about trimming it off nice and flush with the rest of the table. Okay, so this is obviously the next day. I weighted the top down to make sure that it had good adherence there. Yeah, it's we're in good shape there. It's laminated nicely, and the adhesive is all set off, so we're in good shape there. So what we're going to use now is a flush trim bit, and it has a ball bearing that runs right around the top of it there. Well, actually the bottom. Let me get my orientation correct here. There we go. And what this bearing will do is it's going to run around the original tabletop, and it'll trim off this board that we have laminated on so that it's a perfect trimmed fit. So this is a Bosch bit here. So you can see that right there. Okay. So I have a plunge router here, which I'm going to be using to do that with. Just going to insert it. And we are going to tighten it up. Don't want that to come out. So there we go. So the next thing to do is make sure we got our depth set correctly here. We don't want our bearing right here to run into these little screw holes right here, because if we do, we'll have a little divot there. we don't want any divots. So we just want to make sure that the bearing can track just below that. That way we'll get it nice and flush. So the next thing to do is going to be to move this bench outside so that we aren't making a mess in the garage. routing done, all we're going to do is take some sandpaper here. We're just going to clean up the rough edge there, just like so. And then you don't want a sharp edge there. I know it looks terrible until you hit it with the sandpaper. And kind of smooth that edge down. Give us a little bit of 45 degrees, just like so. And then we will take and give it a coat of polyurethane, and we'll be done. We'll be able to move it into the into our workspace. All right, so I guess that'll be it for this video. I still got to put the polyurethane on it there and get it sealed up so that, you know, our acrylic paints and stuff don't mess up our top. So, I can be a little bit sloppy when I'm painting or weathering or whatever. So yeah, we'll get that all taken care of. So special thanks to all my subscribers. Because of you guys, I keep making these videos, and I hope that you enjoyed this one. Although we didn't do any modeling in this video, we're getting really close, so we can get back to that Panther that we did the review on, and we'll be able to get back to modeling. So, oh, and if you're new to the channel, I hope I earned your subscription. So this is just my take on materials that I already had and making it work for my new workspace. So, hope to see you guys again next Friday. So, you guys stay safe.